that ages. And I'm like, well, I tried to delete things and...
Hello, it's the Witchy Weather Report. We're live in 3 out of 4 places, and I'm working on getting live in the 4th. Look, it's Brittany. You may recognize Brittany from other streams, but now she's a human being, not just a line of text. Sources close to Brittany report she was always a human being, but...
Nobody really knows.
Nobody really knows. Did she just, substantiate herself into existence? It's possible. It's believable.
I might be an alien or a fairy.
Anything is possible. The veil is thin. That's why we can see her today. Very exciting. I'm attempting to start Instagram. Now we are on the grams.
You want to turn it around? What's on the thing?
Nah, they're both good. Hi, Instagram. Welcome to the Witchy Weather Report. We are now live in all of the places. I don't have viewers yet, probably because I have trained people not to expect me until 11:05. Therefore, I am going to share this broadcast on Facebook. Welcome to the Witchy Weather Report. Hi, Ruby. How are you? I'm here at Lotus Faerie headquarters. This is Brittany Campbell. Lotus Faerie Creations offers tarot readings and other nifty things depending on what Brittany is making available at the moment in time. So you should get excited about that. I'm in Syracuse, New York, which is a nifty town I have found out recently, and that's my whole story right now. I'm going to get started in just a couple of minutes with our Witchy Weather Report. First, I am going to the Facebook post and disabling comments from anyone who has not followed me so we don't get creepy spammers. Because no.
We don't need those spammers.
We don't need those spammers. The Lotus Faerie has spoken.
These are so hard for me to shuffle.
Let's see if I know what you mean. Like big cards, small hands. It's a problem. I have
very small hands. These are very big cards.
Lucky, how pretty. What are they called? The Druid Craft cards?
This is the Druid Craft Tarot.
I love it.
Okay. And usually I can remember the names, like the author and artist, but today my brain isn't working, so that's enough.
My brain is rarely working. This is Tarot of the Abyss that I will be reading with. Brittany may be pulling a card here or there as the spirit moves her. Here's Tarot of the Abyss. It's by Anne Torian. It's really pretty. It's all this pretty liney art. And it also is the tarot deck that I threw in my car this weekend. Hi, Judith.
Hi, Judith.
Hi, Angie.
Hi, Angie.
Yes, big fairy energy. Good meowing. All right, let's see. How can I make it so that terrible people can't comment? I'm doing the thing. Only established followers can comment, so fewer risk of stupid spam. If you are just tuning in, I have not pulled any cards for anyone yet, but I'm about to do a card for all the humans, a general card for everybody. Then I will do some patron polls, and then I will pull for anyone who would like a card who has just shown up for this stream. I will also pull a card for Brittany. It's going to be fun. If you would like a card pulled, please drop a cat in the chat. That is our secret code. Hi, Anna. How are you? Ahoy, Mindful Marks. Please follow Mindful Marks. Patty Bell from Mindful Marks has been doing some really interesting challenges here and there. Or do you do that more on Soul Shepherd? You should follow both. Post your links, Patty Bell. Soul Shepherd has been doing these really great challenges to kind of like live a more essential life and be less distracted by all the social media. So it's really good. And you can do a challenge where you don't do social media. Do it at a time when you won't miss the Witchy Weather Report. Right after the Witchy Weather Report is the perfect time to start. Tiger, you moved to Twitch. You're so sneaky. Hello, Melissa. How are you? Yes, follow Patty. Yeah, you did one of Patty's challenges, right? Really cool. Okay. Cheers, everybody. I am drinking coffee. Bonk. 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 I'm like, oh, I have a person to clink with. Usually the person is just me. Can't decide whether to watch on YouTube or Facebook. Yeah, I don't know. Pick your poison. Hopefully neither is poison.
Yeah, please don't poison yourself.
Important word from the Lotus Fairy. Do not poison thyself. Yes, coffee. I will ask my standard 3 questions that I ask at the beginning of many broadcasts. Question 1, where are you tuned in from? I'm from Lotus Fairy headquarters today. I'm over here in Syracuse, New York with Brittany, the Lotus Fairy. Question 2, what you sipping on today? What are you sipping on, Brittany?
I have coffee.
I also have coffee. Yay. Question 3, how are you feeling today? Real answer, not polite answer. I'll go first. I'm loopy as hell. I just did a 3-day conference. I've lost all my words. I'm losing my perspicacity, which I think means the same thing. And it's been a ride. I'm tired and a little loopy. I'm so excited to be reading for you. The veil is thin. How are you, Brittany?
I'm also tired. I'm also loopy. I also have no words. They ran away.
We are loopy and wordless. We express this verbally with surprising acuity.
There will be many giggles.
There will be giggles. Do you want a cameo, or are you avoiding cameoing? Okay, that's fair.
Mr. Lotus Fairy is avoiding cameos today.
Mr. Lotus Fairy.
You may see the cat.
You may see Isis.
You will definitely hear her.
All right. Planes are flying low. I am sorry. I'm sorry it sucketh today, Tiger. I send you good vibes. I've been having a sucketh kind of month, and I feel a turnaround. Do I just decide I feel a turnaround? Whatever. It's all good. I feel a turnaround.
The decision that it's getting better is an intentional one, and it's the one that you need.
Yes. What Brittany said.
I now have one.
We're double fisting hydration choices, y'all. I'm going to pull a card for everybody. Would you like to pull a card with me for everybody?
Sure.
Okay, let's do this. I'm doing a little shuffling. This is a card for everyone. Then I'm going to have a couple of cards for, by the way, I'm sorry on Instagram if you're seeing half my face. I should probably try to there. Now I'm a little more visible to everybody.
Want to push it back a little?
Maybe push you back a little.
Sorry if I'm in the way.
That's okay. I deliberately, I'm using the phone thingy backwards because it's a better angle to get us both. Because the other angle is just all ceiling fan. Yay, look, hi, there's 2 of us. We're really here.
Instead of just my elbow.
Right, and just half my face. Melissa says, I also feel a turnaround and I think it's just my own decision. You know what? Sometimes you got to just do that. Sometimes you just got to be like, listen up, universe. The time is nigh. Okay, I'm about to pull a card. Are you ready? Have you shuffled?
I have shuffled.
Okay, here, 1, 2, 3, go. Here are our cards. We have I love, look at it. We're big pentacle energy, y'all. And it is a full moon in Taurus. So we're talking about earthy business. We have the 9 of Pentacles and we have the 3 of Pentacles. I will first share my 9 of Pentacles energy. First of all, look at this. Wait, there. Look at this amazing card. I'm trying to angle it so everyone can see it. Look at this card. This beautiful older woman with a bird in her hand, which I understand is worth 2 in the bush. Mm-hmm. And she's got these pretty flowers that I think are daffodils, or they're inconspicuous flowers. Anyway, pretty flowers and a crown of pentacles, and she's in her garden and she's just living her best life.
It's big grandma energy.
It is big grandma energy, the healthiest, best grandma energy. We have this energy right now inviting you to enjoy life's pleasures and especially to enjoy what you have created for yourself. What can you do with your own 2 hands to make yourself happy today? That is a question to ask yourself for the next month. That is a touchstone. What can you do with your own 2 hands to make yourself happier today? That is the question. What do you think about the 3 of Pentacles, Brittany?
Well, we're going to do a lot of work on it.
We're going to do a lot of, but not alone. We have the help.
Can't see anything.
I know, yes. You know my pain now, Brittany, of this constant, how to do it.
Sorry, Instagram's going to get the better view.
Yes. We are streaming in 4 places. If any of your streaming places are a little iffy, try another one. We're on Instagram. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. We are on Facebook. All of them are at Sassafras Tarot. So if one doesn't work out, try another, or just wiggle around. Everything keeps seizing up. Try another broadcast. it seems good over here. Wow, there's 24 people tuned in. Look at us.
Hello, other 24
Hello,
people.
24 people. If it's iffy on Facebook, just try another, try Twitch or YouTube or something like that. It's all at Sassafras Tarot. Yeah. All right, so that's our vibe. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Three of Pentacles. Do you have opinions about the Three of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles together, Brittany?
Yes, but words. I think it's I don't know, it gives me like really good vibes. Like we have been working hard for like a really long time now. We've been just going steady, just doing the thing. We're finally seeing some results here. But it's not time to stop working yet. We got to keep working, keep our community around us, and just keep pushing because we know we're not there yet, but we have a support system, and we're seeing that like our work is flourishing because of our support system, and we're also recognizing that we have that support system in life.
Yes, strong agree. Friends, pay attention to your support system. Include yourself in your support system because we have the Nine of Pentacles. Be grateful to yourself, but don't try to do it all by yourself because you don't owe that to anybody. You are allowed to have support. And it's all about the practical this month. Like we're focusing on what we can do, one foot in front of the other, our own two hands, to make ourselves a little happier. One day at a time, 1 minute at a time. Earth signs move slow, y'all.
Yeah.
As I am moving slow this morning.
Speaking of a bird in the hand, a bird in the bush.
Do we have birdies out there?
We have 3 birds in the bush right across from us.
3 of them. Look at them. Hi, birdies. Y'all, there's birdies outside. I think they're cute little sparrows. They're very adorable.
I wonder if we'll see all 9.
That would be nice.
We have 3 in the fence directly across us.
Tiger says, I can use pentacles in many ways. Big yes energy. Big yes to that. All right, I'm going to start pulling cards for other people. So remember, 3 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. What can you do with your own 2 hands? And you can do it together. You have community. You have help. Keep working. You're almost there. But don't kill yourself. I mean, literally don't do that, but also like figuratively don't do that. Don't overwork yourself. There's no need. One foot in front of the other, a little bit every day gets her done. All right.
I feel like kind of targeted.
You're like, excuse you.
Don't overwork yourself.
Next time you come for me like that, send a town car. All right, I'm going to pull a card for you first, Ruby, because you texted me this morning and I do not have the wherewithal to look back at my texts because cell phone. So I'm just going to pull a card for you at this time. So glad to see you, by the way. Usually we do Witchy Weather Report on Saturdays, and today we're doing a Sunday because I've been at this conference for the last 3 days. So it's nice because a few people who usually can't tune in are tuned in, and I'm really grateful to see you. Hello, Patty Bell. Hello, Ruby. Hello, everyone else. Hello, regulars. Thank you for tuning in, even though it's a weird day. I love you all. Ruby, this is the card for you. Ruby, your card is the 3 of Swords. This is interesting because so far we've had 3s and 9s. So we have like 3 times 3 equals 9, right? Interesting energy. 3 of Swords. We're talking about what is in our head versus what is happening in our conversation. I'm trying to... That looks like everyone can kind of see it a little bit.
See if it helps.
I think it's the outsidey, but I could be wrong. Why not? Sure.
You do your thing, and I'll figure out the lighting.
So that's our question. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody where it seems like you're saying one thing and they're hearing something that is not at all what you're saying? Be aware that there's a possibility of this. And also, ooh, that's better, I think.
Okay.
And also that like there's a possibility for this in your own life. You may be ascribing things to situations, to conversations, to relationships that are not really there. You may be writing your own autobiography onto the situation when actually you are meant to see things changing rather than see the same cycle again and again. So be aware that we have big feelings. There's an opportunity for misunderstandings right now. And since we're talking a lot about practical stuff and work, I'm going to remind you that that's the savior. We can't always have a conversation go the way we want. We can't control how the other person will interpret it. We can't control their feelings. We can't always control our feelings in the moment. All we can do is try to take responsibility to be kind to ourselves and others and like do our best to regulate when we're able to. And something that can regulate us is just physical activity. So one foot in front of the other, one day at a time. Be kind to yourself. Know that even if every conversation isn't perfect, that's not the end of the world. It is just a transient situation that is happening in your day. It doesn't mean a relationship is over. It doesn't mean your plans are dashed on the rocks. It's just one step at a time. When we go through difficult times like this, it's because there's growth that's ready to happen. We're ready to learn a new lesson instead of repeating the same story. Okay? Okay.
Also with your words too, I think, especially with this Three of Swords, be careful how you're speaking to yourself.
Ooh, yes. Big yes to that. What is your self-talk like? I'm just going to leave that question there because I talk too much. Who's next? I'm opening up Discord.
I've got Discord.
You know who's next? Brittany's next.
Oh, okay.
Because friggin' I'm at your house.
Well, who's the Discord?
You're lovely. Thank you. Brittany, I'm pulling a card for you. Do you have any like particular vibe or question that you would like to ask about today?
I'm stuck in a big way, and I'm struggling to get myself unstuck, and especially stop. I don't know how to put it. Like stop fighting myself.
Stop fighting yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like. So one part of me is like, no, don't look. And then, but the rest of me is like, I can handle it. Let me take this burden and like, let me see it. Let me know it. Let me do it. Let me handle it.
Yeah, like really you.
I can't bridge the gap between those two, and it's causing some serious discord.
Unstuckening.
I really want to bridge that gap and be the support and like.
Here, you're physically here. Divide this into 3 piles for me.
Okay.
We're doing an unstuckening for Brittany. Everybody send some unstuckening energy, please, to Brittany. Also send some bravey. I can find the truth and face the truth energy to Brittany. Please send the good vibes.
Please and thank you.
All right. You put them back together. You decide what goes on top.
Oh, okay.
When I do tarot parties, this is how I usually read for people, unless it's like cold and flu and I'm afraid. I read the vibe. I decide if I feel comfortable having people touch my card that day. But that's how I kind of get people's energy into the deck. Okay, Brittany, your card is the 6 of Pentacles. Once again,
and so many threes.
So many pentacles, so many threes. All 3 6-9s today, y'all. It's all about giving and taking. I'm going to say that when this card comes up, it's because giving and receiving is an issue. It's a challenge. And I'm going to reflect to you, and I'm going to do it right on camera. I'm sorry. I'm going to reflect to you that the 3 of Pentacles came up, and you said a lot of things before you pointed out, like community, resource. And I want to tell you that maybe you're not aware that you have resources available to you. And I heard in your words as you were talking about your stuckness, like, I want to face this. I want to face this. And I would just want to remind you that you don't have to face it alone, that you can do so with support and with help. And also that there are people for whom giving you any kind of support in your journey would be a gift to them as well as to you, you know, and possibly even like a rising tide lifts all boats, possibly by offering you that kind of support, whether it's emotional, whether it's very practical, whether it's like, take a day to do you because I know you're struggling, or whether it's like, I'm here, pour your heart out, I'm listening, or anything in between. Giving that gift to you might allow them to be more generous with themselves as they see their struggle in you, and it might strengthen the relationship too. So giving and receiving, that is the energy of the 6 of Pentacles. Allow both things to flow naturally, because what happens in an exchange is that both things flow in both directions. Yeah. You're welcome. So there. Oh, yes. 6 of Pentacles. Thank you. I was not holding up the card, but now you see the card.
You see it?
That's pretty good. Yes. Patty Bell says, I'll put it up on the screen. In the grace of receiving is a gift to the giver. I love that. Angie says, oh, and Melissa's sending you unstuckening.
Thank you.
And so is Patty Bell. Patty Bell says, may you move, flow, release, shake, loose. Love it. Angie says, the 3 of Swords has been showing up lately about the lack of communication blocking my way. Feel that. Feel that. All right. Who is next? We have the Discords. It's Grayson. I bet Grayson asked a thing because Grayson usually has like an interesting question.
What's something I need to consider this coming month?
Oh, I like it. Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you for being my Lotus Faerie secretary today. I did not mean to put you in a menial role, but I appreciate your help, is what I'm saying. And also, maybe it's a little bit internalized misogynist of me to say that secretary is a menial role because all labor has value. So there.
And secretary is kind of a support role on which you build the base.
Yes, we can't move forward without support. So say all the cards today, literally. Yeah.
I hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. Do I listen to them? No.
Biggest mood. And I will say, y'all, if you want to get in touch with your intuition, one of the fastest ways to do it is listen to the shit that comes out of your mouth when you're not thinking about it, especially if you're giving advice to friends.
Yeah.
Especially if you feel really moved to give advice to friends, listen to those words. You probably need to hear them. All right, Grayson, for you, what is something I need to consider in the coming month? We have the Seven of Wands. What's interesting is I feel like this is not the only time this card has come up for you fairly recently. The Seven of Wands is about pushing forward even when you feel like the chips are stacked against you, like others are not understanding, perhaps not willing to understand, perhaps not willing to look at you earnestly. We can see this person is carrying a wand, kind of like a baseball bat, and has all these wands pointed at him. You may feel on the spot. This is a time to lean in to who you really are and what you really believe in and what you really think like is at the core of who you are and what's important to you, rather than be bullied out of it. This is a time to stand strong, to play strong, not small, to be yourself in a big, loud way. And the chips will fall where they may. You will experience pushback from some people and embracing from other people. But right now, it's time to stand up for yourself and what you believe in. That is the energy of this month for you. And if you do that, if you remain true to yourself, things will work better.
I feel like it's a very defensive position.
It is very defensive. I really agree.
Like, that you're being attacked and you know that you have to defend yourself and then preparing for a counterstrike.
Yeah, right. It's like needing that wisdom in the moment of I will defend myself. That will have a consequence. But I feel like it's also it's worth the consequence. It's worth standing up for ourselves.
Again, I hear the word coming out of my mouth.
I understand. Many of us don't stand up for ourselves because of trauma, because of stuff in our childhood, and we're oh, it's not safe. Maybe it wasn't safe at that time. Maybe now it is safe and we can teach ourselves a new story. So there, by gosh. Okay, next up, Patty Bell. I love you. Thank you. Patty Bell says, I would love a card. Probably need a whole reading, but that will have to wait for now. I feel that. I've been reading for myself more lately, and I only do that selectively. But lately, I've been feeling help me, I'm lost in the woods. Speaking of needing a whole reading, I want to let you all know I have just set up a Halloween sale on Etsy, 23% off because 2023. 23% off. You put in the code SPOOKY23, all caps. I'm going to put it in the comments and I'll pop it up. If you are on Instagram, I'm not putting it in the comments because I'll pick up my phone and I'll do something stupid because touchscreen. So SPOOKY23, all one word, all caps. That is the code to put in on Etsy. If you would like to get a full reading from me, now's a great time because 23% off. Anything, any reading, big or small, doesn't matter. And that's available through midnight on Halloween. So, yeah. So please feel free to do that. Make sure you get your discount. That reminds me, I haven't put up my banner with my Etsy link on it. It's etsy.com/sassafras tarot. That is the place you can find me. It is now scrolling across the bottom. And if you're on Instagram, it's in my bio. You can click the link in my bio and you'll see my Etsy shop link. Okay. Patty Bell, I'm pulling a card for you.
I know I'm not seeing everything. I just have the one channel up.
I think the one channel is where people were posting, so I think we're good. And I got Ruby, who texted me individually. I believe the only requests were on that one channel in Discord and that text this morning from Ruby.
I just don't want to miss anyone.
Samey. All right. Patty Bell, we have the Five of Pentacles. And I specifically am looking at the figures of this card and seeing you in them as a source of comfort and hope who yourself needs comfort and hope. There is a sense of, will my basic needs be met? There is a sense of, will this too pass? There is a sense of, can I get through this time? The answer is yes, you can. You have before and you will again. And you are also not alone. You are not without help, although you may identify with the role of the helper rather than the helpee, and it may be hard for you to see that help is available to you. So remember, even in your darkest times, especially in your darkest times, that there are resources. Remember that all of these things are temporary. Remember that in the moment when you feel like, oh gosh, I'm not going to make it, you will make it, and that's probably the worst moment, and things will get better soon. Take your time. Allow yourself to just experience this experience. It's another fucking growth opportunity.
Oh, man.
I know. And again, it's Pentacles. This is about the practical now. We don't have to tell ourselves a story around it. We don't have to make it like a cerebral experience. We don't have to create meaning on it. This is just about getting through this time in a very practical way, and you will get through it, and then it will be in your past. And then it will be one more thing that you were able to overcome and get through. And I want to remind you that you have it in you, but also that you don't have to do everything by yourself. Really, 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 for realsies, don't.
Have we seen any cards yet that have only one figure on them? I don't think so.
Nine of Pentacles.
The Nine of...
Well, although she did have a cute birdie.
She had a bird.
She did have a bird.
The Nine of Pentacles is also self-sufficient.
Yes.
Very strong in individuality. So I just thought that was interesting.
I think that's interesting too. We've had a lot of relationship-oriented cards.
Savannah's the only one that I got. And the last one I got.
Cool. Savannah's next. What does Savannah have to say? Savannah. Hi, Savannah, by the way, if you're tuned in. I really look forward to the Witchy Weather Report. It goes in my planner every month, along with the live recording of Sassafras. Savannah, you're the best. And I apologize because I know I always schedule at least one of them at the last minute. So thank you for being more organized than me about my broadcasts. I would also like a card. I'd like to know what I can do to help support my own mental health this season. I love this question. I love it. And then we'll be going through the chat and pulling cards for everybody. Oh, Ondine, this really slipped my mind. I have to leave soon. I'll tell you what then, Ondine. Right after Savannah's card, I'll pull your card. Sound good? And I'm also noting the time. It's 11:28. So if you do have to tune in for a broadcast, look at it around, probably the 35-minute mark. If you do have to leave and come back, you will be able to see it on the replay. Scalanis Morris said, hello, Mega Infinity. How are you? Everybody, please, on Instagram, follow Scalanis Morissette. It's like Alanis Morissette, but Scalanis, that's the vibe.
That's fun.
Yeah. That is Michelle from Mega Infinity. She's a wonderful, wonderful human who you will enjoy having in your life. How are you? Let me know if you would like a card. Okay. Savannah, how can you support your mental health? By allowing yourself to be supported and by reminding yourself what truly, truly, truly matters and truly keeps you going and truly is the tree, the house you want to build your life around, the roots you want to put down in this world. We have the lovers. The lovers in this deck is depicted as two trees leaning and growing together. Are they two trees or are they one tree that is split? Maybe bothie, And I want for you to ask yourself, what is it in your life that you're so intertwined with that you could not imagine extricating yourself? And it's not negative, it's positive. Although there will be times when it feels a little claustrophobic, because that's how it always feels in deep relationships. We're never perfect, right? We're never everything feels wonderful forever. That's not a realistic expectation of any close relationship. And I will specify, I don't necessarily mean romantic relationships, although this can be a factor that comes up in this card. I also mean your deep, deep commitments. For me, this card comes up and sometimes means my commitment to my music. Sometimes it can come up and mean your commitment to a child or to a parent or to someone in your life who is just such an important person in your life right then that you learn from each other, whether it's a romantic connection or not. We tend to overemphasize romantic relationships and underemphasize literally every other relationship in the West. And I'm here to say that all relationships matter. I'm here to say, though, it's the ones that touch your heart. It's the ones that make you feel like, yes, we are growing together. Lean into growing together, growing in parallel, rather than feeling that you have to do it alone. And that will help with your mental health this month.
Could it also be like commitment to like an ideal or an idea? Or
Yes.
a thought process or a thought system, old programming?
Very much. Yes. Yes. And like bothy, right? If your mental health right now relies on you deciding to make the same choice or make a new choice, you know what I mean? It's time to review your commitment. What are you more committed to? And your ideals, your beliefs, what mark you want to leave on the world, and also like who you want to be, you know?
Mm-hmm. I'm really like intrigued by how the trees like at the root they're together and then they split apart and then they come back together like a weave, a braid.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm really just keep getting drawn back to where they part. So like I know especially with mental health, like you're so stuck in this is the rules that I've always followed.
Mm.
Maybe it's time to separate yourself from that, and that's really hard to do.
I love that. And that makes me think of like mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Buddhist meditation, when you're observing your thoughts and then you're asking yourself, who is watching my thoughts? Right? Like that,
Mm-hmm.
that stepping back from yourself to be able to be in relationship to yourself rather than just like be in one compressed you.
The separation is really just as necessary as the coming together.
Yeah. And that's how we learn in waves like this. I love that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, friends, everybody, please send Savannah good mental health vibes. Savannah is one of the most supportive humans I know and deserves support herself.
All the love for Susan.
All the love for Susanna, but also all the love for Savannah. Bothy.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. Is Susanna who introduced us?
Yes.
Yeah.
She told me about your shadow work debut. And I went to your shadow work debut, and that was when we started talking.
It's wild to me because you're the kind of friend now, like now I talk with you almost every day, like through Voxer or whatever. And like, I feel like I've known you forever because, you know, like, and it's like, oh, actually, it's like only been since my last album release, which is how I measure time because I'm a musician. Shout out to Susanna for uniting us. Okay, Ondine, I'm pulling a card for you. Here's your card. We have strength. I know this card has come up for you before, and it is coming up for you again. When strength arises, it is time to be strong. Especially, we have a very, very stark choice. It's actually very clear if we are able to step back from the noise, because strength requires that we have at least enough solitude to make conscious decisions. We are responding to the situation rather than being reactive. That is our goal at this time. And it's a time to step back into solitude. There's almost an element of solitude and the hermit in this card, although the hermit isn't here, but we have the darkness of the hermit, and the only light emanating from this card is from these two figures. The background's very dark. Step into the solitude, step into the wisdom of darkness, because when we are willing to like let ourselves simply focus on one thing rather than all the things that are overwhelming us, pardon me, that is when we can make a choice to respond and who we wish to be in the situation rather than just a constant stream of reactions that doesn't have a through line other than our stress. So pull yourself out of the situation, give yourself like blessed darkness, you know, like sacred space for yourself so that you can make a decision each day and every day who you want to be.
It's like intentional solitude, intentional choice. And like, I think I also get so much nurturing energy from strength. Like it seems really weird, but like it's such a powerful, like nurturing feel for me. Like I'm choosing this not because of solitude, but because I know this is what's best for me to grow.
Mm-hmm. It's giving yourself like the tough love, the parental love, rather than the feels good in the moment love.
Yeah, and that can be really, really hard.
It can be really hard.
But like it's watering the plant.
Yes, and I think also you're calling to attention the fact that it's like you're being strong for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not being strong just to be strong. You know, when you're like sick of hearing like, you're so resilient, you're like, thanks, I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You're not being strong just to be strong. You're being strong for you. Let yourself be strong for you. You're amazing. You deserve it. All right, let's see who is where. I'm going to go through Instagram first, just because Instagram's harder. Because sometimes I scroll and it does stuff to the stream. So we're going to scroll and see. Is there anyone who needs a card on Insta? We got Ondine. Okay, I don't see anyone. I don't see any other meows. So I'm going to just leave the Insta and scroll back up on the every other comment.
It's still all been pair figures.
It's still all been pair figures. And even the Nine of Pentacles was the woman and the bird, which makes me think, like, birds to me often are messengers. And it makes me think of a woman listening to the messages of her own wisdom and her own solitude, you know?
Yeah.
And as you talked about, like, that kind of growth where you almost move apart from yourself, like being in a relationship to yourself, looking at your relationship with yourself that way as a relationship, I think that's really interesting. Big meow from Tiger. Let's see who is on deck first. Looks like first we have a meow meow from Chaka. That's a double meow.
Maybe Ange wants one too.
Yes, and then Ange says good meowing. So we are going to I'm sorry to anyone on Twitch who has seen this like stupid friggin' spam comment. We're not gonna pay attention to the spam comment. So we've got Chaka and we've got Angela on deck. And then more people, I'm sure. I'll scroll back up. It's time to shuffle the cards.
I think one of the relationships that we always forget about is the relationship we have with ourselves. Like we'll even think about the relationship we have to the planet and ideas before we think about our own internal relationship with self.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the most like, I don't know, debilitating, like harmful things that we could possibly do. But like we don't think of ourselves as being in a relationship with ourselves.
Yeah. Which can be a form of emotional neglect.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I got really strongly out of the Lover just now earlier when you pulled it.
Yeah, I really hear that. So listen up, Savannah. Remember,
it took me a minute to find the words.
You're in a relationship, Savannah. You are in a relationship to yourself, not just to others, and consider that. Like, I think that I've come to think our relationship to ourselves is the most important because it's the roots. All other relationships grow out of that one way or another. When I hated myself, which was for a long time, and by the way, I'm here to tell you, it's bullshit when people tell you you can't love anyone unless you love yourself first. Because I've lived it.
Other people taught me how to love myself.
Yeah.
If I didn't love them, if they didn't love me first, I would have never learned.
Yeah. And at the same time, I know that my relationship to myself was so needed at that time and so neglected because I had learned that, like I hadn't learned a better way. It led to many of the challenges that were in my other relationships because I was looking for something from everyone else that I wasn't giving myself. And I was not showing anyone how to treat me because I didn't know how to treat me. And as you said, sometimes the good people in your life show you how to treat you in a positive way. So I'm just here to reflect on that.
Yeah. And that's a thread that I'm picking up like through everyone's readings today is that like all the cards to me are talking about like, hey, remember the relationship with yourself and how you're treating you. Like that's a big one. Even
in the midst of your other relationships.
Yeah. Like this is the underlying thread.
Yeah. Your relationship to yourself is still important and can get lost at times.
Yeah.
Chaka, your card is the 8 of Cups. Let's talk about what is time to let go of, what is time to pour into the ground and allow it to be an offering rather than something you continue to carry with you. I'm especially looking back at like emotional baggage. We have a house in the background here. This person has stacked up their cups in front of the house, is pouring out the remaining wine in one of the cups and walking away, taking only one cup, only her cup. This person is walking away only with the parts that they really wish to keep and own, and letting go the things that they know are not going to serve them in their future journey. This especially relates to like childhood and the past, things we have learned, things we have believed. There are times when this card comes up and it's about like walking away from a job, walking away from like a shitty friendship. In this particular case, this is a very internal card. We're talking again, as Brittany commented, about our relationship to ourselves, but also our relationship to all the past iterations of ourselves and all the past iterations of other people who told us stories about ourselves, right? We are grown up, we grow up with adults who reflect back to us what then becomes our self-perception. If we have healthy relationships, if people reflect in a healthy, positive way, like, wow, these are the big feelings you're having right now, and allow us to own our feelings and own who we are, we grow up healthy and feeling like we are deserving of respect. If we grow up feeling that only certain parts of ourselves are okay, or feeling that we have to wear a mask, or feeling that we have to play a certain game to live life and get our needs met, then those become a part of our self-perception. Even though what it actually is a reflection of other people's beliefs that got projected onto us. So now is the time to do now is the time to do that shadow work. Look into your inner house and allow the things to fall to the ground that no longer serve you. And it may help to like literally visualize pouring them to the ground. These are no longer serving me. They have been a part of me, so I can honor that. Now I leave them as an offering to be recycled into something else.
And it's a really great time to do that right now.
It really is.
This is the time.
The veil is thin. We got Samhain coming up. It is, which is a celebration of allowing things to pass away, and celebrating what is no longer.
The intentional culling.
Yeah. I, at this moment, want to share with you, Brittany, because there was a house in this. And I have a lot of dreams about myself as a house. I have a lot of dreams where I'm looking through, like, the place that I live, I'm realizing has extra rooms, has parts that I have never explored. Some of them sometimes they're very scary, and sometimes they're very exciting. Sometimes it's like, what? I have this whole room and I've been like crammed into this little box. It's so, and sometimes it's like, oh God, you don't want to go in the attic though. You don't want to go in the basement either, because woo. And it's like, I've come to understand that when I have those dreams, it's about parts of myself that I'm discovering for good or bad. And the reason I bring this up to you, Brittany, on camera, sorry, is I had a dream about visiting you.
Did you?
Like a week or two ago. And my dream was that I was at your house and you were like, yeah, our house just has 2 attics for some reason. And I never really go up there. And I'm like, your house has 2 attics and you don't go up there? Like, come on. That's so cool. You have to explore the 2 attics. And you were like, yeah, whatever. You want me to show you? And
that's such a neat statement to make, though.
I know. So I'm just gonna I'm just sharing that information with you because I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Okay, so I need to explore the attic.
Both,
yeah,
both attics. Ooh, this is really interesting. Tiger says, have you read Many Mansions by Edgar Cayce? No, but maybe I should. I have learned about Edgar Cayce, and I'm really interested in Edgar Cayce. Many Mansions. I'm gonna look that up on my Libby app. Friends, if you have a library card, or if you don't, because you can get a library card, get the Libby app, or on some libraries it's Overplay. Most libraries have access to a ton of ebooks and audiobooks for free with your library card. It's a free way to learn a lot of things and read a lot of things, by the way.
I love it. Highly recommend.
Angie says,
check out Libby.
Yes. Drop the bad fruit to fertilize the seeds. Yeah, that. Yes, absolutely. And Chaka says, thank you so much. This is very relevant to things I'm already trying to work with. Always trying to cut away the parts of other people and their expectations that I mistook for me. I love that. I love that interpretation of, yes, exactly. And trying to be a person I can like instead of someone I have to fight with. I love that too. Yeah, speak about relationship to yourself.
Figure out which voice is me inside of yourself, and what's really me and what's other people fused into me.
Yeah.
Like that, it's really, really hard. It's really hard work. And I've been working on it for a while, but it's every time I uncover, this is somebody else's voice in my head. And I've thought it was mine for 30 years. And this is what I actually think. This is actual me. It's so rewarding. It's really hard, but it's really worth it.
Yeah. Oh, Angie says, I call the critical voice the dark voice in an attempt to distinguish for myself. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that as well because I've read about this practice and I like it sometimes of like people giving their inner critic a name
Mm-hmm.
so that like my friend Caitlin Liz Fisher does this and it's like very cute the way they do it. They're like they have named their inner critic Carl and they will make a post and be like, damn it, Carl. Like, here's what Carl's been really loud lately. Here's what he has to say. And it's like, I appreciate it because it's like, yes, that just gives it like a persona that's not about you. So that you're not like, I'm not wrestling with myself. I'm wrestling with friggin' Carl. You know what I mean?
The separation.
Yeah, the separation.
I've done that too. I had the disorder goblin for the longest
time. The disorder goblin.
I had, and like the disorder goblin looked like I'm here to help you.
Yes. And maybe genuinely thinks that.
Genuinely thought, I'm here to help you. Yes, this is how we protect ourselves. This is how we're helping you. But then like I realized there's all different parts of disorder goblin. Like now I'm taking this. I'm like, now I have the little fire starter. You're the little one who gets really, really angry and wants to set everything on fire.
And I'm just giving you a button about it.
Yeah. Like, and like I have one that feels like Hexus from Gully. Like, you know, Hexus in the beginning who just slithers out of the tree and is like this really tiny little oily snake thing, like slips and you can't really see it, can't really tell that it's there,
right?
But it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been separating that out and like knowing, oh no, this is Hexus' voice. That's not me.
I like that. I love taking it a step further and being like, this isn't just the one inner critic.
Mm-hmm.
Carl is Legion. This is right. Like this is this particular piece of my personality, and then as you engage, like as you engage with and identify that, you can then form relationships, and you're like, okay, well, this is a strategy that is functional for me to interface with Hexus or with Carl or with whatever.
And figuring
the fire starts.
Where did you come from? Why did you come here? How were you helping, and why doesn't that work for me right now anymore?
Yeah.
Big conversations to have with yourself.
Thank you, Chaka, because Chaka just heralded internal family system, and I was like thinking those words and wanting to bring it up. That's like look that up. Look up internal family systems because it is fascinating. Yeah, it's really interesting and really helpful. Also, we'll say I'm a big Alanis Morissette fangirl. Alanis had a podcast for 5 minutes, and it was called Conversations with Alanis Morissette, and she's very into relationship and psychology, and
she talked about IFS, right?
She interviewed the guy who made IFS.
Nice.
She interviewed the guy who like coined the phrase and wrote the book, and like they had a whole, it's like a 1 to 2 hour conversation about internal family systems. So really interesting. If you want an intro to that, like go look up that podcast.
It's been extremely helpful in my own work.
Carl sucks. Kick him out. They don't pay rent.
Yeah.
How you doing? Good to see you. All right, I want to let you all know, by the way, I'm going to get to everyone today. Brittany and I are like chatty, which I'm in love with. No, it's wonderful. And I'm going to get to all of you, and I'm having a wonderful time reading for all of you. So as long as it's okay with you, like we're going to let the Witchy Weather Report take as long as it takes to get to those who have already asked for cards. If you're watching on Instagram, my sister is blowing up my phone with text right now, and I'm sorry if it's weird. Please feel free to switch to another platform if you're getting a shaky broadcast, because I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, because that's who I am as a person.
Hi, sister.
Hi, Neva. Okay, next up, she got so much to say. Next up, we have Angie, and I'm pulling a card for you. It is the sun. Ooh. It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. It is you. It's the friggin' sun. I'm gonna turn this card around a minute, but I also want to let Brittany look at it. I'm gonna let you speak. I want to just call your attention to how complex the sun is, and the sun is like, is it a flower? Is there a road? Is there like a like yellow brick road like that we see in the sun? The sun is almost in this card, which I will show you in one moment, like a crystal ball with a billion beautiful branches branching off of it. So I want, Angela in particular, I want to call your attention to the fact that the beautiful complexity that is you. We talked about the dark voice, and I want to talk about how you yourself are like a beautiful glowing ball of light and a trailblazer And when you follow your true path, not the path that has been dealt to you, but your true path, being true to yourself and showing up for yourself and look within, you will find your light, and you will find that it shines so bright that it's like beautifully blinding. And you will find that there are so many gifts that you have to offer and that you have been offering regularly. But when we come to this from a place of self-discovery rather than a place of fearful obligation, it's a big game changer, right? We can't be generous when we also feel obliged, because generosity comes from, right? That one hit me pretty freaking hard when I heard that. That's another gem from Alanis Morissette, by the way. I can't remember the song, but there's a lyric that's like basically the gist of the lyric is, my generosity has been stymied because of this sense of obligation. I can't be generous because what I feel is obligation. And generosity is a choice. Obligation, we don't feel like we have, I know, right? It's wild, especially those who like identify as givers. What would it be like to use your gift by choice for yourself first and foremost? Because I want to remind you, you can use your gifts for yourself. You don't have to just give them to everybody else. You don't have to give every part of yourself away. That's obligation. That's a story. That's the dark voice. That's Carl. You can use your gifts for you first. I mean, Carl can have the gifts if you both feel good about that too, but like, it's not Carl's gift, it's your gift. What would it feel like? What would it feel like to open yourself up to how incredibly capable you are? And not look at it like, oh, good, I can do these things for everybody else, but like, I can use this for me. You are the sun. It is the east, and you are the friggin' sun.
One of the things that I really love about this specific sun is that, so it's whimsy. There's so much whimsy, but it's also, the heart is practicality.
Right, one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
We're walking the path.
There's the path, but then all around it is just, it looks like butterflies and like.
Right, and like growth, flowers. And there's like a flower, there's a blooming, there's an infinity symbol.
It's so fun.
Right.
Like with that ongoing thread of practicality and stability and just continuing onward, keep working, keep going.
And I think that's like what it looks like when we're walking our path to have a good relationship with ourselves. It looks like the practical work of it is one foot in front of the other. Yeah. I keep doing the practical things that I know will work, and it leads to growth that touches every part of our lives, which becomes like a chaotic flourishing.
And like the sun, sometimes we can't see anything in front of us, and all we can do is see our foot on the path. Even though we can't see what's ahead of us, we just know we got to keep walking.
Yep. We know that the next step is safe, so we take the next step.
Sun's really bright. It can be blinding.
It can be.
Sometimes that's just as terrifying as the dark.
Yeah, and our inner light is like, there's that quote that's like, we're not actually afraid that we have no power. We're afraid that we're very powerful.
Yeah.
Angie says, I am risen.
Yes.
I love fractals because of the complex potential and hidden meanings and connection. Yeah, same. Yesy. You are the fractal, and the fractal is you. I believe that all realities are possible until it is observed. Quantum philosophy. Yes to that.
Don't tell me it's impossible. I haven't even been able to try yet.
Big yes. So how can you truly know it's impossible? Right. Because I could do it. You don't know.
I don't know that I can't do it. I haven't tried. I haven't done it.
And even if you try and can't do it, it might then make it possible, because you might learn what is necessary to eventually do it.
Right. I can try again.
Yeah. Very
important.
Big yes. All right, let's see who's next. I believe it's Judith. I'm going to do a scroll. We're doing a scroll. We're scrolling. Yeah, Carol, let me know if you would like a card. Okay, next up we got Judith, and then Anna. And who else? We did Patty Bell, and then Melissa. Judith, Anna, Melissa. And then let's see who else is next, if anyone. Judith, Anna, Melissa. I can remember 3 people. Okay. I can do it. Judith, Anna, Melissa, Carol. Hello, White Swan. I'm good. How are you? I'm reading cards. Let me know if you'd like me to pull a card for you. I'm doing 1 card pulls for everyone I can get to today. First time on your channel. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you. And I love that your name is White Swan. That's delightful. It's really fun. What can we call you? My name is Rory. My pronouns are she or they. This is Brittany. And I'm at Brittany's house. We're doing the Witchy Weather Report today from Lotus Faerie headquarters. Oh, where can I tell people to go find more about the Lotus Faerie?
So my website's actually down right now.
Oh, okay.
But
can I find you on the internet though?
They should be able to.
Okay.
TheLotusFaerie.com.
Okay, so thelotusfairy.com is the website where you can go see Brittany and all about what she does and her offerings.
I do have a Facebook page and I do have an Instagram.
And you can also find Facebook and Instagram, which I think is The Lotus Faerie, right?
I think so.
Lotus. Lotus Faerie. I'm typing it in everywhere except for Instagram, so just remember it.
I get my own handle wrong.
Oh, so it's just lotus.faerie. Yes. So lotus.faerie on Facebook, Instagram, etc. is where you can find Brittany and all the neat witchy things she's working on. Not all witchy, because you also have like writing on there.
I've got writing on there. I have some poetry up on my website.
Yeah. Brittany's poetry is excellent, by the way. I've shared it on Poetry Corner.
I have all sorts of stuff. It's just kind of my I'm trying to build it into a at me.
Yes, I feel that.
I just want to be all of my creative, spiritual stuff compiled under the name of Lotus Faerie.
All the Brittany's.
All the Brittany's.
All right, so Judith, you were on deck. Judith, Anna, who is the third person?
Carol.
Judith, Anna, Carol. Is that it?
We might have had.
I'm looking up. I'm scrolling up. Judith, Anna. I know, same. I know, same. Oh, Melissa. Judith, Anna, Melissa, Carol. We'll remember that for 30 seconds. My sister is still texting me. I must have 27 texts right now on my phone. If you're watching me on Instagram, I'm so sorry. Okay. Melissa's like, me. Okay. And yes, White Swan, I'll get you. You're on the bottom of that list. Oh my God, look, you're writing things down. I forgot people could do that. Judith, here's your card. Yes, if you have a question, please feel free. You can ask it now, and I'll just I'll scroll back up to it when it's time.
Because I don't trust myself to remember the order.
Same. Wisdom. Inner wisdom. Know thyself. Yeah, if anyone has a question for their card, please feel free. And when I scroll back up and see your thing, I will answer it. Judith, this card is for you. We have the Fool.
Ooh.
Judith, big new energy. Another solitary figure with birdies, though. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like the relationship here is you and your adventure. Mm-hmm. There is a one foot in front of the other energy to the Fool, but you might notice the Fool is not really looking where they're going. They're at the edge of a cliff. It's not a bad thing. The Fool needs to take a leap of faith in order to experience the next journey that she is going on. It is important for you at this time to take the plunge and move forward, even knowing that you're not 100% certain of every aspect of what is going to happen over the coming weeks and months.
I kind of envy the Fool for that trust in themselves.
Yeah, and thank you for highlighting that, because it's not just trust that the universe will have your back. It's trust that you have your own back. Mm-hmm. It's trust that whatever comes, I can handle it. Even if I fall on my face, I will learn from it.
I think even more so than trusting the universe to have your back. The Fool is the universe doesn't have to have my back because I've got me. I trust in me, so I can do this. And that's so confident. I'm just gonna go do it. I don't need to. Some people say the Fool is, foolish, but that's a certain kind of wisdom right there that we often lose.
Yes. Right. It reminds me of what you were saying before, which is how do you know it's impossible if I haven't tried it yet? Mm-hmm. And the Fool
is energy right there.
Right. The Fool is it might be impossible, but I'm going to see, let's take a look. Let's figure it out. So yeah, the Fool is you. You are the Fool. It's time to just keep walking and not worry a whole lot about what's going to happen 5 steps ahead. Just keep moving forward. Keep follow your joy, especially follow what excites you. It's not a time to be but what about? Right. Give the what abouts back to Carl. It's time to keep walking forward. It's time to trust that you are being led and you are leading yourself by following the thread of your joy and following the thread of your intention. Trust that that is the correct journey for you right now and don't overthink it. Carol says, might check and make sure Kevin is okay. I believe yes, because I've gotten 27 texts from both of them. I think they're just shooting the shit right now on a group text. But thank you for your concern. If I saw something concerning, I would take a pause. I think they're just shooting the shit. Pardon me. Not sick, just post-COVID. Hydration checkpoint. Thank you. Hydration checkpoint, everyone. After that, it is time for Anna.
Samuel would be helpful.
Hydration checkpoint, y'all. Hydrate thyself. It's noon. We're going as long as it takes to get to these people, and then we're cutting off. So we've reached a cutoff point. We're doing Anna, Melissa, Carol, White Swan. That's it. If you asked for a card and I didn't see the ask, type again here. But if you just tuned in, I'm sorry. You're going to have to wait till next time. Cheers. Belated cheers. Bunk. Bunk. Okay. All right. Pulling a card for Anna. Doing a little shuffling. Judith, you're welcome. Be foolish. Go forth and be foolish. Take that lover's devil energy. Make it weirder. Make it goofier.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why I have such a problem with being the fool, is because it's all this Death Emperor energy.
Yeah, like we're both Death Emperors. Brittany and I were talking about this. Our birth cards are both Death and the Emperor, as is my husband's, by the way. So I don't know. I'm a Death Emperor surrounded by Death Emperors. And this is just, I'm like the most adorable, friendly, like Girl Scout troop meeting of like Sith Lords over here. I'm like,
oh,
you know, right. Like, let's all be Death Emperors together and make cookies about it.
For all that death is like change and transition, it's really hard to start something new. Like,
right, because death is the goodbye.
Yeah.
Death is like, this doesn't work. And I've noticed myself lately, I'm leaning into the death part, and it's like I have to clear some stuff and get it out of the picture so that I can move forward and start the good things.
I think it's both the ending and the middle. Like where it transitions, where it changes into something new.
Right.
But it's not so much the beginning. Like there is a beginning.
It's almost like following death is the fool, right? Like following death is like, okay, we've cleared things out, and now it's like, here we are.
It's like Death Fool World.
Death Fool World.
Death Fool World. Death.
I feel like World is still part of the ending. World's the part where you're like looking back. Anyway.
Wait. I was missing something. Sorry.
Tiger says, I'm in purgatory. You're not in purgatory. Sorry, we're having a tarot nerd moment.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's a shared broadcast. It's me and the Lotus Faerie. I gotta have you on the podcast again sometime. Page of Pentacles, y'all. This is your card, Tiger. You're the Page of Pentacles. It's funny because you mentioned I could use some pentacles.
There's lots of pentacles today.
There are lots of pentacles to be had, and like literally we've had a lot of pentacle cards. And remember, I'm going to share with everyone again, if you have just tuned in recently, the card for everyone right now is the 9 of Pentacles and the 3 of Pentacles, meaning that you are a resource and you have resources, both. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to hope that things happen to you. Both things. You are a resource and those around you are resources. Now, the Page of Pentacles, it's a good time right now to think of yourself, Tiger, as a student, to allow, I could use some pentacles right now to be a jumping off point for you to take a crash course from the universe and to ask for a teacher, because often teachers appear when we ask for them. They do not usually take the form we envision. They do not usually look the way we think it will look. But if you ask the universe for a teacher, you will get one. And so right now, allow this to be a learning time. Allow yourself to think of yourself as the Page of Pentacles. And I'm going to ask you to consciously choose to give yourself a fresh start, because it's very hard. I don't know how you feel about this, but especially with money, we have so much programming around money. I feel personally, I have a relationship with the money spirit. She's changed my life. And I also feel that money and working with money has led to a lot of shadow work on my part. It has healed parts of my life that have nothing to do with money. But do they? Because money, resource, time, energy, money. Stability. Yes. So right now, consider yourself a student at this time, Tiger. Maybe a student of the money spirit, maybe a student of resource in general, consider yourself a student, ask for the teacher, trust that all you have to do is show up for the lesson and do your best. Hi, Neva. You've been texting me a lot. Is everything okay? I've been seeing it. I've been seeing you text me. Like, I've been seeing the text fly across my phone, but I'm live, so I can't answer them. Hi, how are you? I will pull a card for you. That's exactly, like, literally, I was like, oh, my sister's texting me. If you're watching on Instagram, you might want to move to another platform. Might mess up the stream. And I'm like, that's a lot of text. And my friend was like, make sure that Kevin is okay. And I'm like, I think they're just shooting the shit. Are y'all shooting the shit? I'm gonna respond to all your texts soon. Hi, I'm in Syracuse. Look, it's my friend Brittany.
Hi.
Convincing him my witch tattoo isn't satanic. Your witch tattoo is amazing. My sister just got a really cool tattoo of a witch, y'all. It's awesome. What's her name again? Tell me her name. Yeah, it's not satanic. It's cool. Agreed. Who's next? Melissa. And I know you had a particular question. Beatrice Kelly. I'm so here for that. I'm so here for Beatrice Kelly. Yes. Okay. Yell into the universe. My question isn't a question. It's a statement. It's more like an onomatopoeia. I'm here for it. And it is follows. Blah. Let me know what the cards have to say.
Mood.
Oh, yeah, biggest mood. I was like, so, you know, like I've been at a conference for 3 days and you always kind of make conference friends, right? And the guy across from me became my conference friend. And he's, by the way, friggin' delightful. He is a time travel comedian.
Ooh.
Right? Did you even know such a thing existed? But now aren't you glad to know it does? And literally, like, his booth just had all these signs that were like free time travel advice. And it's like amazing. Anyway, he and I became conference friends, and we'd be like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Do you feel like you're having good conversations? Whatever. And day 3, I walk by his booth and I'm just like, and he's like,
Day 3 conference vibes.
Day 3 conference vibes. Anyway, so Melissa, we feel you. We understand. Let's pull a card. Yeah, that is the energy. Let's see what the universe has to offer you. The Hermit, girl, it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time for some solitude. It's time to take those and go to your like cozy possum hole and be a possum screaming into the void. Because right now that is what you need. You need your own wisdom. This is not about like you like whatever protecting others from you. It's about you protecting yourself from others. Mm-hmm. You need to point your own light right now. I will also say this woman, again, we have solitary figure, but not solitary, holding a slithery snake. Snakes, first of all, get a bad rap, and I am not a Christian, so I'm not like super into the Bible story, but I have to say that like it affects the public zeitgeist quite a lot. So snakes get a bad rap, right? As being like,
they're lovely.
I love a snake.
Snakes are for healing.
Snakes have wisdom, which sometimes people are afraid of.
Change.
Right. And people associate snakes with deception and trickery. Although I don't know. If you're going to go biblical, if going like, hey, there's a lot of things you don't know about. Why don't you eat this apple and now you'll know? Right. Is that deceptive and trickery, or is that actually saving someone from deception and trickery?
Yeah, I think it's offering a choice, offering clarity, offering
more information.
What's that thing that we love? Informed consent.
Informed consent. Snakes are about informed consent. Anyway, I'm gonna say, be one with your inner snake here. When we encounter the snake, what we encounter is the things we are afraid of knowing. Mm-hmm. What are you afraid of knowing? That is manifesting itself in what that feeling is. I don't want to face something, and so I'm gonna invite you lovingly to face it, and like face it alone, and like do what it takes to face it in a way that feels good. You know, like wrap yourself in a blanket fort. You know, do some journaling, and then also like eat some ice cream and watch an episode of Always Sunny. Like do both things. You know, take really good care of yourself and face the thing. I learned there's a word for that. It's called pendulating. When you face the thing that feels traumatic to you, and then take yourself back into your comfort zone so that you can do both without making yourself lose it, right? You can't face the thing constantly. You can't constantly be out of your comfort zone. That will make you a lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
But you can face the thing until you feel like, okay, this is enough, and then move back into your comfort zone. Give yourself comfort. Your comfort zone has a purpose. It's to comfort you.
Mm-hmm.
We need comfort sometimes. That's okay. I'm tired of people demonizing the comfort zone, if you can't
seriously.
tell. And then when you're good and comfortable and you're ready again, then you face the thing a little more. It's a process. It's called pendulation. Enjoy your pendulation. You are your own light.
I think the like get away from the but do it with like the intention of I'm retreating so I can come back to myself and so I can heal and recover and rest, and then tackle this situation, whatever, tackle the world again with a little more me.
Yes, right. If you're at the point of like syllables of discontent, then it is time to bring yourself back into the glow of your own light, because it means your light is burned out.
Mm-hmm. I know that's one of the things that when I hermit, sometimes I just want to go into the comfort zone and stay there, and like I don't end up doing the work that I need to do because I'm just so drained.
But sometimes that's the first thing you have to do.
Yeah,
because then, when you're like reality has been triggering you nonstop,
yeah,
you need to take care of yourself.
Right, and it can approach the point where it's like, oh, this is no longer like helping me, now it's holding me back. I have to intentionally take that step to go, okay, well, here's the snake that's living with me. It's time for me to tune into the snake and be like, okay, let's do the healing part now. Let's shed the skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to shed. It's time to hibernate.
Yes.
I did the hibernation. Now I got to wake up and take care of myself.
Exactly. Yeah. Bothy.
I think that like the snake on that card is really interesting for me.
Yeah, I really love the snake. I love this deck because every so often there's a piece of imagery that I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sister. I can't see you, but you also look pretty. So does Beatrice. Okay, next up we have Carol. Carol, pulling a card for you. Carol, your card is the Knight of Wands. It's time to go. This is the first wand card that has shown up, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has been kind of like, everything's been pretty practical. There's been a lot of pentacles. And the Hermit, which is, as a Virgo, my friend, and is also a very earthy card. But for you, Carol, is the Knight of Wands. It's time for you to lean into your passion and do the things that feel really exciting and interesting to you, and like follow your fire. Be the fire starter you wish to see in the world. That's not always going to feel comfortable. It's not always going to make everyone else comfortable. And if you're used to kind of taking a measured step-by-step approach, now's the time to allow yourself to be a little more impulsive, because impulsivity has something to teach you right now. Mm-hmm. Lean into your impulses, allow it to teach you things. I also want to share, like, this is like another really interesting card. This person has in his hand like this figure that's like, it's like a little sprite. Is it an inner demon? Is it like, yeah, like a little fire nymph. It's like this impulsive part of yourself that you're like, wow, this is really interesting and could be really potentially destructive. And there's also like in the back, there's like this turning away. Like there's like, we're talking about internal family systems. Right now, you are going to learn from the little impulsive part of you that wants to start shit.
And I think like the knights especially are just do something.
Just do something. Yes, knights are very active. Knights are on a quest. And they don't know, when you go on a quest, you're not like, here's my quest. I will make an itinerary. You don't have a quest itinerary. You just get on your horse and you go looking for the quest. And that is the energy, like especially Knight of Wands, it's time to go looking for the quest. Yeah. Be impulsive, follow your nose.
Do something even if it doesn't feel like, this is going to work, or if it's going to fail, just do something.
Yeah.
Just do something.
Just move. Just move. Just do the thing. Yes. Melissa says, I'm a professional pendulator. Yes, I do. And I have learned from it. Melissa says, I've been hurting for about 2 weeks now. I'm starting to feel guilty about it today. That's stupid. You're allowed to hurt. You're allowed to have hurt feelings. You're a human being. And also, sorry, I wasn't calling you stupid. I'm just saying it's stupid that the world has made you feel like you should feel guilty for having feelings. You shouldn't. So I think I really needed this. It's about time to chat with a snake. Yeah, chat with a snake. Hello, Neil Long. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're towards the end of our broadcast. I have exactly one card left to pull. I will. I have two cards. Thank you. I have two cards left to pull. White Swan, I have a card for you, and I know you asked a question. If you're enjoying this, I do this every month, usually last Saturday of the month. This month, I'm all mixed up because I had a conference to go to. Yeah. I'm traveling. I'm on the road. I'm at the Lotus Faerie headquarters right now in Syracuse. It's very exciting and wonderful. Brittany is helping out. And Neva says thanks. Anyway, usually we do this at 11 a.m. on the last Saturday of the month. That's New York time, Eastern time. So, convert accordingly. Anyway, follow me so that you'll be around next time I do this. Also, I have a podcast. It's called Sassafras Cast. It is not just a tarot podcast, but right now we are learning the tarot. I just dropped an episode on the Suit of Wands, and it's all about how the Suit of Wands teaches you to go after your dreams and your goals and manifestation, and I think you'll really like it. So please look for me at Sassafras Cast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Wherever you follow me, you'll be able to see me posting about it because I don't shut up about it. Anyway.
I'm really enjoying
it. I'm really glad. I'm like, I was really resistant to doing like a Learn the Tarot series. And then I kind of woke up this summer and I was like, we're doing the tarot. It's the time is now. And yeah. Okay. Next up, we have White Swan. And I know White Swan had a question, so I'm looking up to see. White Swan says, I thought you were twin sisters. You're not twin sisters, but I'm here for that energy.
Got a few years between us.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I'm here for it. Okay. Question, very specific. When will I receive my LVMH contract and relocate to Paris? Well, I'm going to tell you before I even pull a card. When is a tough question for the tarot to answer because free will is a thing. I'm a reader who believes in free will. There are people who don't. I personally think they're wrong, but of course people should believe what they want to believe. I could be wrong. Free will is a thing. So different things can affect when things happen and even if they're happening. And you are one of those things. Like you can make choices, that may affect the timeline of your life. And so can the other people involved with that situation. So I'm going to put that question out there, pull a card for you. And what we might end up getting is like information around that. And I have a feeling it sounds to me like maybe you want to speed that up if you're asking when's it going to happen. So I'm going to put that energy into the card. We're going to see what happens. When will you receive your contract? Relocate to Paris. That's so exciting, by the way. Okay, the Emperor. So I'm going to say two things. Strong personalities are involved here. That is a piece of it. So it may be that like it is waiting on one person to be like, yes, stamp of approval. You know what I mean? And that may be the situation. The flip side of this is I'm going to advise you to be the emperor you wish to see in your life. We're both Death Emperors, so we know all about this. The emperor is an authority figure. And the emperor is like, here's how it will be. I've laid out my plans. There's no. The emperor doesn't ask. The emperor doesn't wait and see. The emperor is like, here's the plan. And there's an expectation that the plan will be followed because he's the friggin' emperor, right? So you may wish to be the emperor you wish to see in your life at this time. You can, at this point, reach out and make it clear what your expectations are. Like, okay, I'm waiting on this contract. I am ready to proceed. Let's move forward, right? And that's not an impolite thing to say. You know what I mean? It's direct. It might be time for you to be very direct about like, let's move forward. Be curious. What is blocking this from moving forward, and how can we move through that together? So I would recommend, this is not a time for you to wait on this to happen for you, but instead to not just inquire, but actively be an active part in making it happen. Say, it's time to move forward. How can we move forward together? I'm ready, let's do this. Let's identify what will move us forward. So be the emperor, take action, do not passively wait.
I think also, since when was the question, I'm just thinking that maybe it's not right now because you're not the emperor yet. You need to become that, like when that seems to be the situation of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're making those decisive actions and you have that stability, like maybe that's when this happens.
Right. Like when someone else hands it to you and you make the decisions.
Like make the preparations now.
Yes.
To be in a position where the moment that news comes, you're ready to go.
Right.
And you can take that immediate decisive action that the Emperor is known for.
Yeah. And like I said, I think you're right. And the Emperor doesn't ask. The Emperor is like, this is happening. So I'm gonna recommend that you go ahead and act as if it's happening, and also do what you must to steward it. Reach out to the appropriate parties and be like, I'm very excited about this. It's time to get moving. And there's nothing wrong about saying it's time to get moving. It is a directive. It's basically saying like, let's go. You know what I mean? But it's a polite way to say like, hey, it's time to move forward. Let's do this. We're doing this now, to remind people that you can't be kept waiting. So, I'm excited for you.
And I think you can be clear and direct without being rude.
Absolutely.
That's a lesson that I've had to learn and unlearn, rather, is that directness is good. Clarity is good.
Yes, it's a blessing. It's a gift.
It doesn't mean like you're being rude by saying, here, this is my expectation. This is what I want. Like, lay it all out.
Yeah, I agree. Clarity is kindness. That's something that I just heard at my conference this week.
I like that.
Like, it is kind to be very specific and direct, because, then everyone's on the same page. Neil's saying a couple interesting things. Manifesting is always great. New year, new beginnings. Cleanse, manifestation, observation, receive. Yes. I love that process. Cleanse, like let the things out. Then we're manifesting, what do we want to bring in now? And then observation, how are things going, so that we can receive. I love it. Okay, Aniva, yes, perfect timing. My question is, how can I best guide and support Emmy? We have a school meeting, and I'm going in unclear of what I'm wanting out of it. I just want what's best for her, but I'm struggling to picture what that is for her. I love that question. And I love that is like the motivation in your heart is like, it doesn't need to be about what I want. It needs to be about what's best for her. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Does Emmy know what she wants?
That's another question. Yeah. That's also what came to mind, is like, what does she want? Which I know, like, Emma's my little niece, and she's adorable and wonderful. And so she may know some of what she wants, you know what I mean? And also like may like need guidance and help around the broader situation. But like,
step one, clear conversation with Emmy about what Emmy is wanting to get out of this.
Yeah, I think that's,
and what Emmy knows she needs.
Yeah. Okay, we have some spam on YouTube. I'm going to delete that shortly. She really doesn't. That's fair. That's valid. I have the 8 of Cups here as your answer. So I'm going to like...
Emmy knows what she doesn't want.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good observation. Emmy knows what she doesn't want. The question might be more of a words, COVID brain fog for words.
I don't know what
process of elimination.
Yeah. What I don't.
Right. It might be about looking at what is not serving Emma and making sure that those barriers and obstructions are removed. And that can be a learning process. And of course, right now you're about to have a meeting. So like you need to have like an agenda, which I really understand, in order to like make sure that you get her needs met. So I'm going to suggest the 8 of Cups is about leaving behind things that are not working. So I'm going to suggest maybe making a list of what hasn't worked, especially with the school system, what has not been functional or what has not felt good, what you would like to move away from. And that list may inform you of what is needed. And if it does, like it may or may not, right? Like you might be like, well, this didn't work and this didn't work and this didn't work. And that might not give you a clear picture of like, so we do this. But bringing those concerns up and, and sharing like, these are the things that really weren't functional. How can we get together on creating a new path, that will feel better, I think is probably the best way.
And so speaking as an educator, that kind of data is super helpful.
Right.
You cannot don't underestimate how powerful that sort of information is for the support systems in your whole life, but especially as an educator to a child. That is
right.
There's probably nothing more helpful than that. Is here's what we've observed does work or help. Here's what we've really observed does not. Like these things we know do not.
It's helpful. Yeah. Helpful to know that.
Mm-hmm.
And Brittany is an educator. And I will say, like, what I've observed too is like both educators and parents are very frustrated with the system. Like there's a great deal of frustration with like being able to get kids the support they need, and being able to protect kids from what they need to be protected from, you know, especially when it's like, you know, like a kid has evolving needs. Like the system is rigid and difficult, but the educators usually just want to have all the information so they can support the kids. So Neva says, that's a really good idea. It honestly makes clearer the direction I need to lead into. That's really good. The fight against getting her what she needs clouds me in the meetings, and I start fighting for what I can get and lose the big picture. Yeah, I really understand.
And I think that also can go into the cups too, because it's emotion. So stepping back from that emotional lens might be really, really important when you're preparing for this meeting, and especially with the 8 of Cups dumping the wine out. Like, now's not the time to go emotion first, heart first. Like, very important. Still use it to inform your decision, but when you're having that conversation, remember that you're looking for a solution. You need the logic part,
right,
to get to the solution, informed by the emotions we felt.
And I think emotionally, sometimes too, we can tell ourselves a story like, well, this is what always happens, right? But, you know, that's not necessarily constructive, right? If we go into the meeting like this is what always happens, it's actually hard to get the outcome we really want, right? Because we have that stuck feeling. So I would say for you, identify your own emotions around it, about what hasn't worked and what sucks, and allow yourself to process them and feel them. So you're not feeling them in the meeting. You know what I mean? So that you're like already, you've made your decision about like this is what sucked, you know, and I'm going to show up committed to a fresh start. And then bringing into the meeting the information, right, that you've gleaned of like, okay, this is what has not worked. So let's constructively come up together with what will work. Mary Jane, okay. We were about to stop, but I will pull a card because you're a regular. You're on every month, so I'll pull a card for you. And then that will be that. Let me see if I can ban this like horrendous spammer. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna put this comment up so that y'all can see that people are disgusting and don't deserve to be on the internet. Here is someone who is telling me free reading naked fall girl and then saying take the top off your friend, free reading. You're disgusting and you don't belong on the internet. Stop it. Harassment's not okay. It's bullshit. I'm banning you right now, but I'm not going to ignore disgusting comments. They don't belong here. You're the problem. It's you. Goodbye. Lately, as someone who has a public persona, when I get harassment, I'm not ignoring it anymore. I'm calling attention so everyone can see, because the harasser is the one who should be embarrassed. Okay? Okay. Clara Murphy has been banned and her comments were removed. Excellent. Okay, Mary Jane, I got you. I'm pulling you a card. Okay. Sorry for my little moment. What is it with people lately? I don't know. I was at a show the other day. I was performing and someone yelled at me to take my top off. And it's like, what? Like, were you raised by wolves? Like, what's the matter with you? Like, go home. Anyway. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your support. All right, Mary Jane, I'm pulling a card for you. Angie says, your reaction is appropriate, their behavior is garbage. Yes, it is. I won't do the garbage behavior anymore, and I will call it out. Like, let the person who's being garbagey, I'm going to signal boost their garbage so everyone knows how gross they are.
There you go. That's that emperor energy right
That's
there.
the emperor energy. Say it louder so the whole class can hear. Mary Jane, we have the Two of Swords. Decision-making time, and this is a decision about who you want to be. And we have here crossed swords. We have someone who has two masks in their hands, in either hand, and their face is blank, and it's as though it's like, which mask do I put on?
Who do I want to be?
Who do I want to be? And I'm going to present to you that you don't have to be either mask, right? Like, if you have a decision that appears to be between two things, I'm going to let you know there's always a secret third option, and often a fourth and fifth. You know what I mean? Often our own blinders about what's possible for us in particular, our own blinders about our self-esteem and our identity and what people have told us we're allowed and not allowed to want and all of that interfere with our ability to imagine more options for ourselves. If you're torn between two options that you don't totally love because neither one really feels like it fits you, it's time to make a third option. Like it's time to go rogue. You're allowed to make a third option. And the third option might be, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but nope to this. You know, the third option might be, I'm going to figure it out without doing anything that sounds horrible to me. You know, it might be, I'm moving into the darkness of uncertainty because I am certain that these two choices don't work for me. That's going to depend on you and what makes sense to you in the moment. And there are times, I will say as well, when wearing a mask just gets us through and it's expedient, right? There are times when we really don't feel like it, but it's expedient to like, whatever, go to someone in a position of power and kind of play the game that we know will get us the result we want. And it's 5 minutes of our life and it's done. And so if it's that situation and that feels right to you, then do it. But be aware when we choose to wear a mask. Often we can get stuck in masks. We can get stuck in like, well, this is who I have to be now. And you really don't. You only have to be yourself. You only have that responsibility to yourself. You don't have to meet anyone else's expectations. Again, unless it's expedient and helpful for you, you know?
There's also times when all of the choices are bad, but you still have to make a choice. You still have to move forward. You still have to move.
Right.
You can't just stay in indecision. So,
and sometimes not making a choice is making the choice.
Yeah. But I think not making a choice is always going to be bad.
Right, because at least making a choice allows you to have, it's the measure of control. We can't control our whole life. We can influence it. And especially with this card, we can decide who we wish to be in the situation. What version of me do I want to show up for? And I'm going to encourage you to choose a version of yourself because we are infinite. Choose a version of yourself that will help you nurture yourself and be kind to yourself and give yourself the future you want. Choose the version of yourself that serves you, not that pleases somebody else. And if they happen to intersect, great. But that's like what's most important is you're thinking about your future. You're making this decision for yourself, not for anybody else. So make it in a way that feels like I'm moving towards nurturing the best version of me. All right. That brings us to a close, my friend. Thank you for joining us for the Witchy Weather Report. We are tuned in from Lotus Faerie headquarters, so please follow the Lotus Faerie, lotus.faerie, and I'll put that in the comments again. It's LOTUS.FAERIE. If you follow lotus.faerie on Instagram, Facebook, other places?
Twitter?
Maybe Twitter. Possibly Twitter. You'll be able to get updates on what Brittany's up to. We also have thelotusfaerie.com. Is it .com?
Yes.
Thelotusfaerie.com will also get you here. I'll hold up this card, but I'm covering up the phone number because you don't need to give your phone number out on the internet unless you decide that you want to, and that's not a decision for me to make. Thelotusfaerie.com. That's not very visible. On Instagram, you can see it. Everywhere else, I've put it in the chat. Follow the Lotus Faerie. Brittany does some really cool things, poetry, tarot readings, different witchy stuff. It's wonderful.
My Twitter is also at the Lotus Faerie.
At the Lotus Faerie. And
one word.
It's spelled that fun way, Faerie. So follow the Lotus Faerie. Come back again for the Witchy Weather Report. We'll be doing this the last Saturday of November at 11 a.m. Mark your calendars now. And follow me on wherever, Sassafrascast. Oh, and if you would like a full reading, use the code SPOOKY23. It's etsy.com/shop/sassafras tarot. You can just search for Sassafras Tarot on Etsy, or if you are wherever you're tuned in, like there is probably a link to it. There's a link for sure on Instagram. It's a link in my bio to my Etsy shop. Put in Spooky23, all caps, all one word, and that will get you 23% off any reading you want. Okay? Okay. Y'all are wonderful. Have a wonderful day. Happy Samhain. Happy Halloween. Happy veil thinning. Have a great time. Bye.